It is now 8:03 in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and I'd just like to remind everyone that the Searchlight Midweek is now online. Some of the headlines are Lae residents told by police to stop sheltering criminals. SVG ranked as lowest paying country in the region. This study confirms what the NDP has been saying, says party president. Ex-common law wife accepts compensation saving a man who tried to kill her from jail. Opposition senator asked to partner with government on rollout of MPID. $74 million in supplemental funds approved for Kingstown Port project. Dr. Grant gives tips about how we can slow down the aging process. Football referee Moet Games gets another major appointment. More sports and kitchen corner. Remember to check out our video stories on YouTube and download the free Searchlight app to access our e-paper and get breaking news and updates. Searchlight, journalism you can trust. Check us out online at searchlight.vc.
99.9 WEFM.
Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Yeah, I really need to look up this sound, Harry.
Be nice.
The beat is nice.
Nice. Good morning again, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It is now 8:05 in the morning, and welcome to
Activated. So I don't understand how you
Activated Mornings
you know
this morning.
Why you sound so bright?
That's why I suppose to song in the morning. Activated Morning this morning. Good morning, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Thanks for joining us once again.
Listen, my energy levels don't start till like already after 10, so that's to tell you. But anyhow.
So my question now is,
I don't even want to think
are we
it.
at the center of another?
Don't say it, Harry. Don't say it.
Another one.
Don't say it.
Another COVID scare. No,
another COVID type scare. Yeah.
Another COVID type. Well, they have all these variants like it's Marvel. All these variants, Kang, Loki, all these different variants for the COVID-19. Yes, I live.
Oh, okay.
Of the COVID-19.
All right. So just to remind listeners that we are live on Facebook and Instagram, and you can be interactive with us by calling and WhatsApp messaging at 457-9997. Or you can leave a comment under the Facebook or YouTube page. All right. Ari, what we talking about? You thought you're saying we ain't talking about this month stuff. It's Christmas time.
Yeah, but we had to talk about this. This is something that affected people for what? 2 years.
Yeah.
All right, we have a call this morning. Good morning, caller. You're live.
Yes, good morning to you and good morning to Crystal. The next thing that they're going to do, they're going to shut the internet down from you for about a month or 2 months. Biden and them is planning that. That's in form of all the control and everything and the this and the that. Anyway, I have sent to your WhatsApp 3 items. I will not go to any other radio station and send it. That is to be handed over to the government and the Minister of Tourism. I have no way of going in the offices there because I'm going to lose my temper. So it's better I send it through you guys. Now, this is in the effort to help St. Vincent and the Grenadines. What you're finding there is something called a disclaimer. This disclaimer was brought to my attention by several English tourists that visit these shores almost every year on a particular cruise ship. The cruise ship has posted a disclaimer, and the English citizens or visitors or tourists, whichever you choose to put it, category put it in, is very disturbed by this disclaimer because they say that St. Vincent and the Grenadines is the only island with this type of disclaimer. Now, let me ask you something as a radio journalist. When last you hear tourists get robbed or the chain pull off of them and man pull away their iPhone and camera? When last you hear that?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
all right.
We don't normally hear such news.
Very rare. Very, very, very rare. Especially now that the tourism really come up. You can't pull nothing from no tourists, whether uptown or downtown. Them man would run you down. because they don't want that behavior here. They realize that tourism is important. I've just done the tour guiding course again. I've done it in 2007 and I've done it again. And what I found here is very damaging. So I am asking for your help on this radio station this morning to pass this on to the relevant authorities. I did something last week called community tourism. We found that the tourists don't want to leave the cruise ship terminal, and after inquiring, they came and they brought the evidence from the ship. Now, community tourism involves, we had some fire officers from United Kingdom.
Okay.
And I took them down to the police station and introduced them, let the fire officers introduce them to the fire station. They were more than happy. Because you're coming from the UK, you want to come and see what the small, the thing is. So that is called community tourism. So I made sure I execute that. And in return, they show me all the stuff the ship writing about St. Vincent. It is wrong. Now, I am of the opinion that Koreans know that, Now, remember, Koreans ain't have nothing to do with that. But Koreans only glad to full your buses on them. Because that is on, because we observe. And if you want the camera videos, we have them. Most of the persons who coming back from Korea's tours are not going back through the gate because of what you've written. Look at that thing and read it. Okay. Crystal is a bright girl. You, Mr. is a bright girl, bright man. Read it and see what's going on. So I thank you very much. I'm not going to give this to no other radio station. I'd rather pass it through you guys. Pass it, please, on to the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You need to see this. You can't be dissing my country like that. We in tourism long time. Nobody can bring no tourism talk to me. Because we're dealing with water sports and a whole set of things. So, Crystal, please, pass it on. I have the temper to deal with that there because that is crap. You're telling lies on Vincentian. You're scaring the tourists and them. Okay? And you're forcing them and preventing them from going through the gate because they feel that when they walk through the first gate, a man gonna grab on and them, a man gonna pull the thing. Some of the other guests don't care. They're still coming in town. They're still going down 9 steps. They're still going by Bully and Bottom Town. Everywhere is still getting jammed off. But the majority is not coming off because the disclaimer that you have written on the ship is scaring the tourists. I feel this one here needs to go all the way to the top and all you try to clear this as far as possible. No cruise ship shouldn't come here and do that when Barbados have more shooting than us. Yeah? So why you put for the rest of the islands? Only this island. Nah. I'm a patriotic Vincentian and I'm a nationalist. Have a nice day, guys, and keep up the good work.
Same to you.
Right, thanks. All right, so first disclaimer, it's not Crystal who's on, it's Roleza Samuel. And well, we do acknowledge receipt of the information that you have sent, but we're going to have a look at it before we can discuss it on air. All right. So Crystal will be on tomorrow. So after looking at it, then we would determine whether or not if we would have the discussion on air. All right. So Ari, I didn't get to read it. So I guess yeah, I would have to have a look at it after. But
it was upside down, so we have to to flip it and read it properly. So back to the discussion, right? For the past couple of days, there have been a rise in pneumonia cases across China. And naturally, that's gonna cause panic. Now I'm reading a story here from BBC News. It says China has reported no unusual or novel pathogens in cluster of child pneumonia cases, the World Health Organization has said. Beijing has attributed a rise in flu-like illnesses to the lifting of COVID curbs, said the WHO, who is the World Health Organization, which had, what do you mean, WHO? Which had, I always say who, which had requested for more data on the cases. Still, it urged residents in China to take precautions like getting vaccinated and wearing masks. Local media had in recent days reported hospitals being overwhelmed. In a statement on Wednesday, the WHO said it requested China for more information on reports in the media and from ProMed, a global outbreak surveillance system, of clusters of undiagnosed pneumonia in children in northern China. So pneumonia is a general medical term used to describe an infection and inflammation of the lungs. It can be caused by many different viruses, bacteria, or fungi. After WHO's request, state-run Xinhua
Listen to you.
news agency published an article which quoted officials of China's National Health Commission as saying they are paying close attention to the diagnosis and care of the children with respiratory illnesses. Later on Thursday, WHO said in a statement that China has not detected any unusual or novel pathogens and that the increase in respiratory illnesses spread in the north of the country was due to multiple known pathogens. So, false alarm. It's a false alarm. False alarm. I don't know.
We don't listen. Listen. I don't have to say false alarm at this time because remember when the early developments of COVID started around, I think, Christmas time as well, and in China, right? It's just that when I read it and I noticed that multiple news sources had it up, I was like, oh gosh, no, not again. We can't be doing this again. The world cannot be doing this again. We cannot be going back here. Because I mean, we're not trying to raise an alarm. We're just letting you know what's happening within China. Because I can't say in the world as yet, because we haven't seen any incidents or any stories of it extending from the borders of China. But the world can't go through this again, Ari. I refuse to let the world go through this again. If I had it in my power, we're not doing this again.
The scary part of it to me is you can never trust China news. Xinhua is a state-run news agency. When Hong Kong was protesting, and thousands of people came out on the streets of Hong Kong to protest. What was happening? I think China was the same as Taiwan, the Taiwan situation. Western media and the rest of the world was reporting thousands came out to protest China rule. Chinese media was reporting thousands came out in support of the rule. When they're doing the reports, it's a little shaky. Yeah? You can never be too sure about what is going to come out of this, but hopefully, it is a false alarm.
Yeah, we're hoping because I mean the thing of it is that the world is just trying to recover from the recent COVID situation, which lasted for like 2.5 years. And I mean, in some instances, yes, and in some instances, there are still strains of it hanging around. Have we developed an immunity to it as in a general immunity, population immunity to it? By now, we're not sure. But it's really frightening to have to read a story like this. If I remember correctly from the article, it said that it's affecting more of the younger persons than older folks, right? So I'm not sure if it's a case where those younger children, their bodies have not built up an immunity to whatever this new virus is. But as I said, we definitely can't go back into another situation like this. I mean, when the pandemic started, and you know what was so weird for me is like I couldn't believe what was being advocated in terms of how to curb the spread of the pandemic, which was basic things that we would have learned in preschool, washing your hands, general hygiene practices, you don't cough in front of persons. Well, I know we used to cough or sneeze in the palm of our hands, but they've advised that you do that within your elbow. But simple basic hygiene practices that we were told to help to curb the spread of this. And I was there like, no, this can't be adults we're talking to, because these are things that we're supposed to know as
You think that?
But that's the thing. So part of me wondered what is in the Caribbean is what we're taught is, and in the wider world they don't practice these things.
If I was to say something, our songs are homophobic or racist, so I withhold that comment. But I can say this: when I went to Vietnam in early 2020 when COVID had just started, and just going to the bathroom, You see people using the bathroom, not washing their hands, people coughing into the air, like normal. There's something that well, I don't know if it's all Asian. There's a seed that Taiwanese chew. I forget the name. And they would just chew it openly, it would destroy the teeth, but they mean they chewing it, and beetle nut. And they would just spit it on the ground, and things that we thought normal, not that normal. And I feel like this is me being 100% totally biased. As Black people and Caribbean people or West Indians, I feel like we're generally more hygienic than any other place in the world.
And that was the thing for me, is like, I said, who they're telling these things to little children again? Because to me, it was just the weirdest thing to hear. And I think, if I'm being honest here, that was why initially, when the pandemic started, I was a little bit dismissive of it, because I couldn't believe, it was these basic things that we had to practice to help to curb the spread of it. And it's like, these are things that were taught us as children,
Yeah,
So,
I can't say that I'm surprised, because you would think that you wouldn't have to tell people don't steal the sink from under jacks. But it
people
happened.
slowly say, oh yeah.
It
Oh, yeah.
happened. It's happened.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess maybe on our end, just in case, whatever COVID protocols are. Well, I know that people still walk around with a mask. And I think that if persons do feel a little bit concerned about their health, there's absolutely nothing wrong with still walking around and wearing your mask, But it's on the other end, if you're not wearing your mask, still practice the common basic hygiene things that we were taught as preschoolers, So let's hope that it stays there in China. It goes away very quickly, because the world, the economy, it just cannot go back to COVID times. So
Agreed.
Fingers crossed.
But let me hit your curveball here. The story that we read earlier. I'm reading it on WEFM right now, WEFM.com. 999WEFM.com. Following the controversy that arose following the St. Vincent and the Grenadines signing of the Samoa Agreement, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves has denounced instances of homophobia that have been amplified in response to it. So I just want to read his quote there. It is urged upon everybody not to be demagogic, not to be homophobic, but keep ourselves in a balanced state. And remember what I said, even though in our country, activities by gays and lesbians in St. Vincent and the Grenadines have been criminalized from colonial times, that's now before the court. The constitutionality of that is being tested. But even while they're criminalized, you cannot meet a gay person on the street and slander them. You can't verbally abuse them. You can't beat them up. You can't deny them access to the courts. You can't deny them from coming in your supermarket or your shop. You can't deny them scholarships. All what can happen if they're caught in a homosexual act, they could be charged, but they're human beings with particular bundles of human rights, he said. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, you really hit me on curveball, the boy. On what the PM said, or just us generally?
That specific thing.
Okay, read over that last piece.
Where he's saying, while it's not criminalized, while they're criminalized, you cannot meet a gay person on the street and slander them. You can't verbally abuse them. You can't beat them up. You can't deny them access to the courts. You can't deny them from coming into your supermarket or shop. You can't deny them scholarships. Or what can happen if they're caught in a homosexual act, they could be charged, but they're human beings with particular bundles of human rights.
So treat them as humans, just don't inflict harm or discriminate against them. That's what I gather.
Yeah, that's what he said. Treat them like regular people.
Right.
Even though the homosexual act is illegal, treat them like regular people.
That's what you gotta do. That's what you gotta do.
That's
what you gotta do.
I'm asking you what's your opinion on it.
I was listening to the conversation that you had with Crystal last week on this, and all right, so the thing of it, for me, homosexuals or effeminate persons have been with us ever since, right? I think in society we have accepted some I know that within recent years, when is Barry and the crew, I can't remember all of their names, but when they came out, they were cross dressing, and there were some persons who would verbally abuse them, and then there were some persons who just looked at them and allowed them to be who they are. Now, my personal opinion on it, I really don't know. I really don't know. I am in agreement with they should not be verbally abused, right? They should not be denied entry into places. They should not be denied um, things that regular heterosexuals would be open to, or would have access to. I do believe that homosexuality and transgenderism is a personal choice. Yes, I know it goes against our Christian beliefs. It goes against what the legislation says. Um, Maybe even by extent, I think sometimes, sometimes for us as heterosexuals, we also sin. Our sin is just a little different. Um, So I don't know. I really don't know what my position is. I know that in the conversation with you and Crystal, you said just as long as they don't influence or prey on younger persons or prey on naive persons, then
Children.
well,
They don't
naive
force it
persons
into
and
schools and they don't prey
right,
on children.
right. But that's my position on it.
So my opinion, right,
Hmm.
is
It's interesting that you
people
just
don't care. I don't think people generally care anymore.
Hmm.
It used to happen. We have to acknowledge the fact that people used to curse out gay people,
Mhm.
beat them up, all these things, deny them entry from certain places. That used to happen. No, I don't think that people care anymore.
But one thing that I do have a problem with, like when you're looking at shows, popular TV
Mhm.
shows, I am not. So as I'm saying, yes, people can do what they want within the confines of their own home. I don't even have necessarily an issue with public displays of affection, because I have worked in environments where there were homosexuals, there were open homosexuals, and it didn't feel any different. I didn't feel any different with being around persons like that. But I do have a problem when it goes too far. And it's the same thing that I would say if you have a heterosexual couple who goes too far in terms of public displays of affection, right? I do have a problem though with TV shows where they try to, it's almost as if, especially popular shows, as if they feel the need to influence or to put
Exactly.
it on
It's
me.
an agenda. They're forcing it
Yeah,
on
you
you.
force
This
it
is
on me.
normal. Accept this as normal.
And for me, even looking at those shows, because I remember it happened a lot in Empire, that show Empire. And I always had to like close my eyes whenever the gay scenes came on, because it's not to say that um
It gets
I
pretty
wasn't
graphic.
comfortable with it.
It gets pretty
I
graphic.
wasn't comfortable with
It
it,
gets pretty graphic.
I guess no sin is above all the other. At the end of when we get to judgment day, all of us do have to give an account for our sins. I have to give account for my sins. They would also have to give an account for their sins. And I don't know if as you said,
Yeah.
I don't know if it really bothers me
I
that
don't
much.
think people care. I don't
Yeah.
think people care that much to be beating people up or barring them from. I mean, a lot of people were angry because they thought that we were forcing the laws upon us. And I think
Right.
that was the problem. Because in the Western world, a matter of fact, internationally, it is being forced on us to accept transgender and anything in the LGBTQ as normal. And I think that is the issue that a lot of intention are having. As it relates to it being an illegal act,
Decriminalizing it.
I do believe that it is not the same, but really close to if you catch someone in a homosexual act publicly and they're charged is the same as if you catch someone in a heterosexual act, they will be charged for public indecency.
Right.
I think the issue is the wording of the document where it seems like you're targeting this particular group of people. But even if you decriminalize it, and I don't think it's being enforced
Right.
because there are a bunch of homosexual gays, lesbians in St. Vincent and the Grenadines that nobody cares about. Enjoy your life, love for you, and love, that's your business.
And that's the thing, people, we see them, we know them. Do we actually care?
Ain't nobody.
Not really.
Let me say, ain't nobody. There are people who care, but generally speaking.
But that's the thing. But I think when you have to, maybe if you do a poll, is it that the young people don't care, but the older persons are headstrong with their position? Because I remember, I think the PM was making a point in the same Issue at Hand program where back in the day, parents would want their children against associating with, let's say, a homosexual, because they have the saying, birds of a feather flock together. Or if you are seen associating with such a person, then persons would say that you are of the same kind, but for us as younger folks, it's like, so if I have a homosexual friend, okay, that's fine. That doesn't mean that I am going to be a lesbian as on account of my friend being being gay or lesbian as well.
When I was in Taiwan, I used to hang with a bunch of Latinos, and one of them was a Latino guy who was gay. And whenever we go out and I post snaps and whatever, my friends would tease me like, yo, you hanging out with this gay man, it affected me whether he wanted to do it.
And my whole thing is, as long as you don't come on to me, we keep it respectful.
He enforcing his ideals on me. We having regular conversation. He ain't making no moves on me. Nothing it was quite normal. I just don't care. I just don't care. What you doing in your personal life, that's your business. And I feel like that way of thinking came from traveling, being outside more, and seeing how the world is outside of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Because outside of what persons we term as homophobic behavior by Vincentians, there are a lot of things that are normal, quote unquote normal here. That's
you
not
mean
normal.
Three men sitting in the front of a van? Like, to this day, I don't understand it.
I ain't sitting in the middle of no van.
No, but
no van
I
driver
never
taking
understand that.
no taking a hand and rubbing down my
No,
leg.
but he doesn't have to. And
Me,
even as me, hold on a second. I don't keep telling you hold on. Even for me as a woman sitting down there in the middle, you think a driver is going to be passing his hand on me? It comes the same way. So when it is y'all would go,
where it come from?
But that is, so we do have some homophobic elements within our society.
No, where the idea that the driver shifting gears passing his hand on your leg come from? The fact that it happens.
But it doesn't have to happen. It depends on how you sit. it really does depend. So this is my whole thing, is that men do not want to sit, 3 men in the front of the vehicle don't want to be seen there. Y'all would haul somebody out from the front and tell them go sit down in the back.
It's not a comfortable seat, in my opinion.
It's not a comfortable seat for women either.
Oh, well. Yeah, the choice not to sit there. The choice not to sit there.
Right. So I do think that there are certain elements of homophobia that we do have within our society. There are certain elements, right? But I do think that apart from maybe the 3 men sitting in the front of a van situation, I think people we really don't care. We really don't.
Well, we'll break
just don't harm. Just don't do any harm towards any person. You see somebody going down the road, they choose to cross dress. All right, fine. You see a man wearing a little bit of a tighter pants than a woman would, maybe. It's whatever. It's their individuality, and I think that's one of the things that we probably don't do, is that we don't respect persons for being an individual and showing their individualism. I think that's one of the other issues.
Yeah, but we'll break here and come back. Joshua said something on the live. I think I want to touch on that.
All right.
So we'll break here and come back.
All righty, we'll be back in about 3 minutes.